The most fun I've ever had with a phone has been with the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 7. This thing is just awesome. Crazy fun to use, especially when you're outdoors and using Google Maps on the cover screen. Not only is it really cool just holding this flat cube, but I even got stopped by some random people and asked what the thing in my hand was, as it looked so intriguing. That being said, it's not perfect. I found 3 glaring issues during my 1 week of usage. However, I also have 4 very positive things to say about it, so I'm gonna start with those. Also, if you're looking to order the Flip 7 or even the Fold 7, you can use the link below to get some exclusive discounts. Okay, by far my favorite thing about the Galaxy Z Flip 7 is its cover screen. This is a major upgrade from the Galaxy Z Flip 6, as we no longer have that folder style look. Instead, we get a full screen experience with literally the thinnest bezels I've ever seen on a phone, with the camera modules now punching through the cover screen. This full screen cover isn't entirely new. Motorola has had this since the Moto Razr 40 Ultra in 2023, but Samsung's bezels are even thinner than Motorola's latest Razr, the 50 Ultra from 2025. Samsung achieved this by shrinking the internal components and swapping the waterproof rubber seal for a water-resistant coating. The result? The most futuristic phone I've ever held in my hands. Now, unlike the Z Fold 7's cover screen, which is basically a full smartphone, the Z Flip 7's cover screen is mostly for widgets, at least by default. So swiping right allows you to see your recent notifications, then you've got your home screen in the middle, which shows you your time, your battery life, and your wallpaper of choice. This, by the way, is a wallpaper from our app Wallpapers. It's the first wallpaper from our Gradient Glow pack that you can download for free. Then, if you swipe left, you can see your widgets, which, by the way, you cannot customize using the cover screen. You need to open up the phone to do that, which I do find quite weird. That's still quite cool, but where I think the cover screen really shines is when it comes to launching full apps. To do this, you can either go into the cover screen settings, then go to apps allowed on the cover screen, which is a lapse feature, so an experimental feature, and then you can enable some apps like YouTube, Maps, and WhatsApp to be launchable on the cover screen. However, my recommended way of doing this is installing Samsung's Good Luck app from the Galaxy Store, and then installing Multistar, as from there you can enable almost any app to run on the cover screen. Then you also get this resizing window here that lets you have the app truly be full screen, or you can leave some space for the cameras, or even have it in a 16:9 aspect ratio. This does work really well. I was even able to have our own app Wallpapers run on the cover screen, and even apply some wallpapers straight from it. So that's pretty cool, but to me what was even more useful was when using Uber or Maps while I was walking. Having this tiny flat square for navigation just felt incredible, as I had way more grip than I normally do with a normal slap phone. Josh from my team, who usually uses the Flip 5, also tried the Flip 7. Interestingly, he felt the new cover screen was mainly a visual upgrade, since the cameras still take up a lot of space. But hey, although I still find the Fold 7's full phone cover screen way more practical, I gotta say, the Flip 7 is just way more fun to use. Which brings me to the second thing I love about the Galaxy Z Flip 7, the Foldable Aspect. Now, while I do agree that the Z Fold 7 is technically superior since it unfolds into a tablet rather than folding in half, the Z Flip 7 still has some unique advantages over a normal phone. For example, you can prop it up with ease to watch YouTube, or you can use the trackpad mode to browse the web and then also scroll the web page on the bottom half. My favorite thing to do though is taking photos, as the Z Flip 7's cover screen is right next to its cameras, unlike the Z Fold 7's. So you can prop it up to take some photos with the main cameras while seeing yourself on that cover screen. Unlike the Fold 7, which, unless you've got a kickstand case, you would have to hold it. And aside from this, it is also a very thin phone, at just 6.5mm thin when unfolded, making it the thinnest phone of this shape that I've ever used, after the S25 Edge. Plus, the crease is now less noticeable, although it is still far more noticeable on the Z Flip 7 than on the Z Fold 7. Since the Flip's crease is horizontal, so you will feel it whenever you scroll a web page. And I should also mention that it's very light, at just 188 grams. That's 30 grams lighter than the S25 Ultra, despite it having the same display size on paper at 6.9 inches. Although you do get quite a bit more viewing area on the S25 Ultra, since its display is quite a bit wider. But all in all, I do prefer how the Galaxy Z Flip 7 feels in the hand over the S25 Ultra, because of its much thinner body and reduced weight. The third thing that I really love about the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 7 is its main camera. Yes, this is still the same camera as on the Z Flip 6, which is the same main camera that Samsung's been using on the S22 to the S25. It's an older sensor for sure, but it's not actually that bad. The photos look sharp with very good color reproduction and also some vibrant colors. Portrait shots have a very good background separation, then low light performance is also surprisingly good. This is honestly a very solid main camera experience that I believe almost everyone would absolutely enjoy. And of course, the best part is that since this is a foldable, you can just use that main camera as a selfie camera and then see yourself in that cover screen. And if you do that, the resulting selfies will look very impressive. You can also record videos that way too, so I would say for content creators, the Z Flip 7 is actually a far better choice than the Z Fold 7, just because you can see yourself in that cover screen while laying the phone flat. The only weird thing here is that for whatever reason, you cannot shoot 4K 60 video when using the cover screen, only 4K 30. You'd have to use the inner screen for 4K 60. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is a bug, as otherwise it just doesn't make any sense. And my fourth favorite thing about the Z Flip 7 is its price. At $1,099, it costs the same as the S25 Edge. In the UK, it is even £50 cheaper, and that's before all the pre-order offers, which will bring down the price even more. And I really don't know why anyone would pick the S25 Edge over the Galaxy Z Flip 7, as you get so much more from the Flip being a foldable. Now let's talk about the things that I don't like, and my biggest issue so far is overheating. Unlike the Galaxy Z Fold 7 that overheats only when you're outdoors in direct sunlight, the Z Flip 7 overheats almost at all times. Even when it was just sitting in my pocket not doing anything, it did get quite warm. It could be because of that Exynos 2500 that's inside, although Josh from my team told me that his Flip 5 overheated just about the same, and that one has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 inside. Now, there is supposedly a larger vapor chamber inside the Flip 7, but yeah, it just doesn't seem to be making that much of a difference. Now, speaking of the Exynos 2500, a lot of people got upset that we didn't get the Snapdragon 8 Elite chip, like we did in the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Especially since the last two generational flips, they did come with the latest flagship Snapdragon chip. Running some benchmarks, the numbers don't look great for the Exynos 2500, with just 1928 for the single core and 5481 for the multi-core, which is about half of what the 8 Elite scores in multi-core. And in subsequent runs, I got 1101 for the single core and 3838 for the multi-core, which is less than even the Z Flip 5. So the Exynos 2500 does throttle a lot. That being said, my day-to-day usage has mostly been fine for me, although I did have some occasional lag and hiccups. Although my main hiccup has been with Google Photos, which for whatever reason just doesn't work on my Flip. It's been stuck at this setting up my photo library stage for the past week. So aside from the photos that I took on the Flip itself, all of my cloud photos are just grayed out. And I've tried everything apart from resetting the phone, and yeah, nothing actually worked. I'm not sure if this is an Exynos 2500 kind of issue or just a weird glitch with my unit. Hopefully a future software update will fix this. The second thing that I didn't enjoy was the battery life. Even though the battery is 300 mAh larger than on the Flip 6, it is still not very good. I usually ended my days at around 15% or so with medium usage. That's somewhat similar to my S25 Edge, which ended the day with about 10%, although that was with light to medium usage. So even though I did find myself using my Flip 7 way more, overall, it did actually last longer than my S25 Edge, that's for sure. Just not quite as long as an S25 Plus or an S25 Ultra or even a Z Fold 7, at least from my experience. My final complaint is the lack of a dedicated telephoto module. We only have the main and the ultra-wide, both of which are good. Although personally, I tend to zoom in way more often than I tend to zoom out, so a telephoto would have been my choice here instead of that ultra-wide. We do get 10x digital zoom, which thanks to Samsung's AI processing does actually look pretty good. Although the resulting image is worse than the Z Fold 7's 10x or the S25 Edge's 10x. But other than these three issues, I would say that the experience of me using my Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 7 has been very enjoyable. Sure, an S25 Ultra does offer a bigger screen, a bigger battery, and much better cameras. And you can get it for about the same price or even less if you're looking at some refurbished options. But the Flip 7 is just so much fun to use. So if you're thinking of ordering one, then check out the link in the description. There are some unique offers that you can get if you use that. And other than that, let me know your thoughts. What do you guys think of such a phone? Are you gonna get one or not? Let me know down below. I'm Daniel, this is Zoneoftech, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Zoneoftech, signing out. Cheers.